There we go. That was quick.
Oh, shit. Right, we're live. Fuck. I should probably stop swearing. Right.
Yeah, for fuck's sake, man.
All right, let's go. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We're bringing you Transformers news from around the world because none of it happens in Australia. Actually, that's not true. This week, some of it does happen in Australia. This is episode 209. We're recording live on Friday, the 14th of February, 2020. Tonight, we will be talking about Wonderfest 2020, not 2019, maybe a little bit of 2021, depending on how long it takes these masterpieces to turn up. New masterpiece figures, new Cyberverse Deluxe figures, and maybe some other stuff that might be new. All that and more is coming up on tonight's show.
We need to get that champagne edition music playing.
Yeah, I don't want to freak anyone out, but I just found these in my pants. All right, shall we?
We shall.
All right, welcome to the show. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, we have Bradley hailing all the way over from the other side of Australia in, I'm going to say sunny Perth. How's it going over there?
Very sunny, very hot. And truth be told, this is probably the most exciting Valentine's Day I've ever had.
It's true. It is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you, dear listener. And to you, Bradley. And to you, Max, over in Adelaide. How's it going?
It's going well, thank you. It's about as romantic as Valentine's Day gets, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. Look, did you get some new bots for Valentine's Day?
No. I did buy a Luke Skywalker figure arts, so like he can be my Valentine. Fair
enough. I am going to just suggest that you speak up a little bit, and we'll put your mic a little bit closer to your mouth.
All right. I will do so.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Conclusive. If it wasn't that.
So, how is your Luke Skywalker figure arts figure?
Oh, he's my Valentine. He's a very handsome boy.
He's fair enough. Is it young Luke or old Luke? Is that a bit telling if we ask that question?
It's Luke from the Good Movie.
From the Good Movie. From the Good. Yeah. That's so ambiguous, Max.
He doesn't look like he's from Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi.
The one you go into a tangent about figure arts and Star Wars movie quality. I'm sorry.
Is there a correlation?
I mean, the Rise of Skywalker figure arts were generally considered pretty shit. So, maybe depends on how you look at it.
Maybe I'm just going to suggest
you can't have an opinion on Star Wars, so I can't actually say what
I
think.
I'm just once more going to suggest you move your microphone closer to your mouth as well.
All right,
try that.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, that's better.
That better.
All right. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Now we are cooking with something explosive. We've actually probably just we've probably just been banned from YouTube. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shit.
You mentioned explosive. That's hatred. It spawns hatred.
No. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. And then hate leads to fear. Oh, wait, hang on.
It leads to suffering.
Don't know. I feel like there's a circular correlation there.
Yeah.
Anyone been doing any Transformers related stuff this week, or have we all just been goofing off?
Goofing off.
I know you guys
always.
Have. I've just been at uni and done nothing else. So
you've been at a uni that was not closed due to the coronavirus.
Well, I was at a campus where that isn't all in Chinese students. I don't know why. I think it's a degree thing.
Fair enough.
Agricultural campus. I don't know why. It's just
how
it is.
It's
all over coronavirus.
I had a maybe that's why I was going to say maybe that's why your campus is still open, but you just made that joke. I had a rather devastating blow to my week due to the coronavirus because I was due to head off to Barcelona next Thursday for a week and a bit, and the trade show that I'm going to has been cancelled and called off, and it is no longer happening. That's it's the lovely trade show that I enjoy going to every year in Barcelona, Mobile World Congress, and a little bit disappointed, a little bit sad, but means I get to bank a week of leave to use later in the year.
Yeah, that's
good,
in Barcelona.
It is.
Bang. He's from Barcelona.
My ooh, Barcelona. To make it slightly Transformers related, it's actually the place that I found the primitive skateboarding Power Master Optimus Prime at €40, and I found the Transformers Tribute Orion Pax and War for Cybertron Optimus Prime 2-pack also for €40 in a department store there.
Wasn't it a few years ago you found the those add-on Combiner Wars limbs and had
yes, it was the year before that.
Pick them up for a bunch of everyone.
Yep. It was the Hasbro exclusive one. It was Dead End, wasn't it? Or
Breakdown.
Wild
Rider.
Yeah, the
Breakdown.
Wild Rider and Slingshot, or whatever they called them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, remember those heady days of like exclusive Transformers that Hasbro would release in small quantities to every single shop on the planet? Good times.
I'm sure that early Combiner Wars was certainly something.
Yeah.
What was late Combiner Wars?
Like
Something
Combiner
else.
Wars made sense. Like Combiner Wars was just, okay, here's a wave. There's all the figures in the wave.
Yeah, it was wave 1 and 2 were messed up, but everything else was okay. I mean, you could still make a combiner.
Yeah. And then they just sort of kept on putting out combiners for the next 3 years after Combiner Wars using the same models.
Yeah, we're still getting them.
Here we are. The Seacons are just starting to hit collectors' shelves now as well.
Oh yeah.
All right. Shall we, since we've started talking about Transformers, shall we continue and talk about some news?
Nice segue.
It's very subtle. Segues are not actually good if you draw attention to them. So thank you, Bradley.
Ooh, my apologies.
Oops. Yes. I need the Segway Jetsons sound effect. Anywho, this happened this week. Look at that very pretty. Sorry, the dog has just walked in, done a circle behind my chair, and walked out. So we are looking at photographs from Wonderfest, taken by TCCA member Chris Wan. I thought we might actually use some photos taken by someone who is actually close to our group membership. So Chris Wan was in Tokyo for Wonderfest, and he snapped some photos of the new Masterpiece reveals. Now, I feel like these are probably painted prototypes, I'm assuming, but there's some shiny stuff on Tigatron, and there's also a bit of a controversy about the other reveal. Now, let's stick with Tigatron for now. So Tigatron does look like an upscaled version of Cheetor, which you can see in the background, with a bit more detail on some of his limbs. Now, that's how I've been looking at him. Other people are like, no, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like the crotch design pretty much says I'm right. Now, I'm not that familiar with Beast Wars, but I cannot have a gap in my Masterpiece numbering, which means, yeah, I'm going to get Tigatron. And like, I'll probably enjoy the design of the figure. I'll probably like it, although the character doesn't necessarily mean that much to me. What's your guys' take on Tigatron being MP50? Did you think it would be something a little bit more prestigious, or is it just sort of like, it's number 50? Takara's not going to do anything particularly special for it.
I would have thought 50 would be more a character everyone knows. I mean, you, Jason, you know Tigatron, but you're not familiar with Beast Wars. Whereas
no. I know of Tigatron.
Okay, you know of Tigatron.
I've heard of Tigatron. Tigatron is a character name that is definitely something that exists.
Well, then you know all about him then. But I would have thought 50 would be a more universal sort of character, if you know what I mean. Not just Tigatron.
Max.
I mean, I was kind of hoping they'd go for something significant, but at this point, I feel like we've thrown any sensible masterpiece numbering out the window, so anything goes.
I mean, look, Takara can still be commended for at least releasing things in numerical order, unlike fans' toys.
I mean, I guess you could say it's significant in that it's MP50 is the first official masterpiece upscale.
Yeah, so you're with me on the upscaling front, eh?
Yeah, it's the first masterpiece knockoff. That's official.
No, well, I was going to say it's not the first masterpiece knockoff because they've been around for donkey's years.
Yeah, have you met MPO1?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going to say I have the iGear Seekers as well, which I still have them? I think I still have them. They're somewhere around. You can see this in this photo here. You can see the big boy in front, and you see the little boy in the back. Cheetor is behind him with Dinobots and Primal, and I believe that might just be a Generations Rhinox in the back as well, or is it Rat Trap? I can't quite tell.
No, it's Rhinox.
Maybe there's a better angle there. So you can see some more of the detail on the arms, the sort of covering of the arms, the backpack on this shot, and there's the other one. We won't talk about her yet.
Don't mention her.
No, we'll mention her, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I feel like I should know the answer to this and don't. But are either of you guys Beast Wars fans?
Yes.
So what's your feeling about having a masterpiece Tigatron?
Again, don't really have room for masterpiece Beast Wars stuff, but this guy does look cool. And whenever you think of Tigatron, usually you think of his debut episode, and this is sort of just a pose that he does, but it's one that you remember him for.
I see.
Yeah.
Apparently, I need to watch some Beast Wars.
Yes, you do.
So I say we'll be ordering this. I have already noted my interest in pre-ordering this with my supplier. Will either of you guys be getting it?
Nope.
You might as well just ask me if I know who Tigatron is, and the answer will be the same.
I believe I did, but I don't know who Tigatron is, but I'm still going to order him.
Well, I can respect that at least.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the other masterpiece reveal. Masterpiece 51 is RC. Now, just notably, both of these figures on display were supported by a masterpiece stand. You can see RC there as well. Now,
one up her RC.
Oh dear. So it looks like RC comes up to Magnus's waist or so, which is probably about in scale with other Autobot masterpiece cars. Now, there's been some controversy over the chest design, over the face design, and the backpack. First of all, are you guys excited by a masterpiece RC?
Yeah, right. I'm glad they're doing it. I mean, I'm not wholly taken the figure enough to decide on purchasing it, seeing it yet. But, I didn't expect them to do it, and they sort of pulled her out of nowhere. And, I mean, it doesn't look perfect, but it looks pretty good.
Looking at this, looking at it here, I feel like there's some details that I've noticed for the first time. Like, I can see some of the panels that make up the legs. That's going to be an interesting transform. And of course, there's the sort of discussion about the folded-in panels on the backpack. Let's have a look at the backpack there. So, the backpack does seem to be a bit of a fold on fold thing, as we've seen with some of the Transformers masterpieces of the last couple of years. I mean, Bumblebee especially with the feet. Do you guys have a preference on backpack design? I feel like RC is a very difficult Transformer to do without essentially making her a shell former with a backpack.
Yeah, especially if we're talking animation G1 RC. Like, I don't really know what else they could have done. Ultimately, it's going to come down to how well she can stand up. If that isn't an over encumbrance, then I think it'll be okay. But if that's all quite solid, weighty plastic, then I think it's going to be an issue. And we can't really ascertain that until people get it in hand.
Oh, we kind of can from looking at what's happened to Hound. It's going to be very light.
Well, I mean, I'm I am not in the audience for this masterpiece figure, but yeah, it was a shock to see that she was mentioned, and then you got 2 prototypes of her, and she looks good. And usually, whenever people say I don't like the look of the backpack, usually whenever they get it in hand, the backpack doesn't really factor into it as much as people think. Usually,
That's true. Yeah.
and yeah, it just looks good.
So I'll just draw attention to the vehicle mode. Like the vehicle mode looks like it's just come out of the cartoon. It's extremely impressive.
Very nice pink, I gotta say.
Yeah,
It's a very harsh pink, like a very fluorescent. And I don't know if that's actually just Chris's photos, but I also suspect that this might be a bit of a hand painted prototype. So I suspect the final production might not look quite like this.
Yeah, and it's weird because if you look at the other picture of RC and you look at the car in the background, it looks white. No, not that one. Last one you were just on. That one. It looks white-ish. It could be just a camera lens flare-up or something.
I do think the sort of vivid pink on that is sort of it's offset there. Like that looks a lot lighter, possibly because of the light above it. But I mean, the figure itself does actually have quite a it's not maybe not vivid. It's almost a darker shade of pink than I expected it to be. But I'm pretty confident that this is really just a hand painted prototype, so it shouldn't be too bad. What about the face design here? I've seen people talk about the face a bit disparagingly. I don't really have a problem with it. She's sort of got a bit of a neutral expression, but I assume that there'll be multiple face options, just like we've seen with other recent masterpieces.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty common. But what have people been saying about her face? I haven't.
They've been saying that the face looks a little bit stretched, a little bit elongated.
Okay. Well, that could just be, the base face. You could get other faces with her.
Oh, yeah, that's probably actually just going to be the case if you think about a lot of recent masterpieces. So, yeah,
I feel like she's likely to have multiple faceplates. The elephant in the room, chest. What are we thinking? Do we think it's mistransformed?
I have to assume that shifts up somehow. Like, I don't want to be the guy like talking about the robot breasts, but like, it does just look weird.
It does. It does. It looks weird to me for a couple of reasons. One is the exposed screws in the shoulder behind where we assume the chest piece should be, and also the fact that there's a large sort of white. There's a large thing that looks like a hinge in the middle of the exposed part of the neck. Now, I don't necessarily remember RC having such a large white collar below the neck, and I'm not alone in this. But I have seen some photos going around that actually say no, this is actually how Takara prefers RC to look. So I'm not 100% sold on the chest being sort of something that moves up and down on that hinge, or that this is wrong. But it does feel like it's not particularly correct, especially given that Takara is, we know, going for animation accuracy.
No, it's especially considering how animation accurate so much of a rest of a figure is. I don't really know why it would be like that if it's as an intentional decision. Obviously, if it turns out to be like that, I guess we'll just find out for whatever transformation or whatever reason they've chosen to do it. But for the time being, I think we can almost assume that it's mistransformed just because it looks so obviously mistransformed.
The last thing that I think we should probably call attention to here, based on the photo that we're looking at least, maybe the back photo shows it a little bit better. The knee design looks a little bit new, a little bit novel. Because RC has sort of a solid kneecap at the front, it looks to me as if the ratchet for the knee is actually placed at the back of the leg, and there's a part you can just sort of see the knee sort of extending just above the pink kneecap that I think might sort of extend out if you bend the knee back, so that what am I saying? So that the knee pad stays in front and doesn't really reveal the inner workings of the leg.
It almost looks like sort of a Figma joint if you look at the way it appears on the back.
I am unfamiliar, but okay.
It's like a disc hinge, right? Where it's some people would know what I mean by that, and Jason, I think, is just the Transformers man. So
yeah,
he does that.
So it looks to me from the placement of the round part, which I assume would hold a ratchet of some kind. It looks to me like the top and the bottom half of the leg would just sort of split apart when that's bent, and obviously wouldn't bend the other way. So yeah, maybe that's all that's going to happen in there. It'll just reveal some of the inner workings of the leg, but it does feel like it's something that they might just cover up with another white panel inside the leg.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is that sort of pink section on the back of the knee. It's like sort of two rotating discs that move like that, if you get what I mean, and that's how it will bend, and so it maintains a much cleaner silhouette.
It really does. I feel like we haven't really seen masterpieces using this design before, but then none of them have really been trying to capture that sort of human form leg design for a while either. Maybe some of the beasts might have some similar designs. We'd have to look into it. Right. So given that this is the first reveal of these figures, it's probably, I think we'd be lucky to see one of these figures at the end of the year. I think it's going to be a long time before we actually see these figures released proper. In the meantime, there's time enough for a few plus releases. So, a few plus releases. There are other figures coming up as well. We do know that there's a black repaint of the MP44 convoy mold. There'll be a Nemesis convoy as MP49, I think. And we've also got Leo convoy. How do you actually pronounce that? Is it Leo or Leo?
I think it's Leo.
Oh, great.
Possibly because I mean,
Leo convoy is coming out apparently this month. So
okay.
if you've been waiting for him, which I do have him on order, so I'm looking forward to getting that figure. It does look great. And there is also an MP38 Plus burning convoy due for release sometime in the next couple of months as well. So I think we're going to be well served for sort of plus releases and repaints and the like for a little while before the new molds come out.
Definitely
like it.
A steady drip.
Yeah, a steady drip. There's been a bit of a glut of releases in the last couple of months because Bumblebee got delayed. So Bumblebee and Hound hit pretty much at the same time, and now we've got MP19 Plus that's coming out this week, and Leo Convoy is going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks as well. But I think from here on we'll probably be sort of spaced out a little bit more, like maybe once a month once every couple of months. Okay. Shall we move on?
We shall.
Let's move on. Let's continue to talk about Wonderfest. I've got a wall of text on the screen share in front of me, mainly because my first reaction as soon as I saw that people were tweeting things from an official Takara Tomy stand at Wonderfest was to jump on Twitter and just go, "Holy shit! Someone please go and ask them about Hound." Because over the last few weeks, and I haven't actually opened my Hound yet, and I said I would, but I haven't. I've come to sort of believe that Hound is kind of a bit of a problem for Takara Tomy, and maybe it's going to become more of a problem because there are breakages. There are breakages from people who don't manhandle their Transformers. There are multiple things that are breaking, and I think it's a big shame. And Takara doesn't really seem to care about it too much. Someone did actually go and ask asked the people on the stand 3 questions. Chris, we did send Chris one back to ask, and he ran into the booth girls who didn't really have much of didn't have an answer for our questions. But one of the TFW mods did get to speak to someone from Takara Tomy and ask them 3 questions. One was about the quality control issues with Masterpiece Hound, and they said something that I had a discussion with someone on Twitter who echoed these sentiments. They said Hound is assembled from pieces made in multiple factories. So there's no one single factory that's responsible for manufacturing Hound. Different pieces are made in different factories, then they're shipped into one place and they're all assembled. Now, one of the reasons apparently for doing that is so that there's less chance of a complete Hound walking off the production line during a lunchtime special production run or anything like that. But what it also has led to is different pieces that come from different factories perhaps not fitting together quite so well, and tolerances being a little bit weird. So the direct quote is, regarding the factories, different materials were used in Vietnam, but they were unaware how they would pan out for Hound, as they were unaware of what the results will be. They know of the breakages right now, and there have been quite a lot of them, but no decision has been made for a future re-release or if they will change the factories or materials. Takara doesn't really care at the moment. That's how I. Sorry?
I said they're getting their money right now. They'll figure it out later in the track.
Well, they're getting their money right now. They are getting rather a lot of money. Like, I paid $240 for Hound. A lot of people paid a similar price, and to be getting figures that break so easily, and some of them are even shipping. They're breaking in the shipping box. That's really disappointing, and I'm pretty disappointed to see Takara just take an attitude of like, yeah, we know about it. We haven't really decided whether we'll fix it in a re-release. But they also haven't really owned it and just gone, yeah, no, this is a bit broken. We're going to recall it, like they did with Masterpiece Ramjet, where one of the shoulders was misassembled out of the factory. But also, by the same token, I'm not sure whether or not they really need to recall it, because people are getting their Hounds, they're breaking, and they are sending them back to their retailer and making the retailer return it to Takara Tomy and get a replacement. So maybe people are okay. I don't mean they're okay with the quality, but maybe people's requirements and needs for actually changing this stuff, maybe they're being taken care of.
Well, there's also a chance that some people who do have breakages are sort of lucky in the way that they can repair whatever breakage they may have. But at the same time, this whole thing just sounds like Takara Tomy's done some sort of experiment with their Masterpiece line, and it's just failed on all fronts.
I tend to agree. It really does sound. It does sound like that, because especially the line where it says they were unaware of what the results will be, but they've shipped it anyway.
Yeah, but it just doesn't feel like there wasn't. Feels like there wasn't really any testing done, where for a release as expensive as this, there absolutely should have been.
Yeah.
Another question. There was an Armada Optimus Prime mold that was demonstrated. It was shown at a recent show a while ago, but they said they don't really know whether they're going to put them in Masterpiece, in Generations, or in another line. Fair enough. I would have thought that before designing one of those figures, you might know where you're going to release it, but okay.
It would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
I mean, I know a lot of us are going to buy anyway, but I'd love to know what on earth they were thinking there.
It's going to get announced as MP52 next week. Just wait and see. And the other one is a rather more interesting question, because there's been a lot of theories over what's caused the recent price increases. Now, we did, of course, see MP44 climb up towards the $600 price point for a single figure, making them sort of the most expensive general release Masterpiece figure ever. And so people have been wondering what is going on with the pricing. Why are Masterpiece prices climbing so significantly and so steeply? Like Hound is a figure that is not that much bigger than any of the Datsun molds, But the Datsuns are generally, sort of about $100, $120. Hound is literally twice that price. And I would also, I'll save my counterpoint to that. According to Takara, the price increase is because of the demand from fans for the cartoon aesthetic, which I wasn't aware that was a demand from fans, because it's more of an observation from fans that they have been going for more of a cartoon aesthetic. But fair enough. And they do cite an explanation that I have heard from the community before, which is just simply the number of parts has gone up. Every single part costs money, so as you increase the number of parts in the figure, you also increase the price. So we have seen some figures with extremely complex transformations, like some of the backpack on Sunstreaker, some of the leg parts that fold in and out for MP44. So Takara is laying the blame on complexity of meeting the cartoon aesthetic for the price rises. It does also go on that the mod from TFW Gamerlingual did tell the Takara Tomy representative at the booth that many fans feel they'll be forced to quit the hobby if the prices become too expensive, and they know, and they've discussed with the executives, and apparently this contributes to the decisions of what figures will be made next, Tigertron and RC. We'll see. Anyway, I don't know that we really expected any response to those inquiries to be very different. I would have found a bit more of a discussion over Hound's quality control issues a little bit refreshing, but I don't think that we expected much different.
I don't really know how things are going to change, really, because it's like if they're using the parts count as justification for price increase, then obviously people start demanding a decrease in price, and they're going to lower parts count just because they can. That's what they've established is their business model. So, no matter what they do, people are going to complain about it either way. So I don't really see much changing.
Yeah, look, people are going to complain either way, I think. And also, we know that we know that people do appreciate the cartoon aesthetic. And we do also tend to hold Takara's masterpieces up against companies like Fans Toys that do have... Well, I was going to say they do have some similarly expensive figures, although Takara just seems to be well over and above and beyond Fans Toys pricing for their figures now as well. Now, the counterpoint to the parts count argument, they specifically said that the number of parts for each figure has gone up compared to Masterpiece Datsuns or Wheeljack, for example. Well, that's fine, but I picked up a Masterpiece Datsun this week. It was MP19 plus Smokescreen. So the parts count for him is admittedly low, according to this representative, but he was $185. Like he's tier. He's probably the most expensive Datsun that there is, and I don't really know. Based on this justification for the parts count being the reason for the price increase, I don't know why he's that expensive.
Is Smokescreen out of print? Smokescreen still being made?
No, you can get Smokescreen if you want, but the plus is great actually. Like the colors are fantastic, and the paint job on him is fantastic. It just looks like he's stepped out of the cartoon with an older mold, but still. But yeah, no, like I feel like they're aware that people are going to ask these questions, and they're sort of trotting out a rehearsed excuse.
A pre-prepared statement.
That's where I was going. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, look, we haven't really discussed pricing of masterpieces that much. Like, what are you guys feeling about current masterpiece prices? Are they putting you off purchasing more?
Oh, yeah, but it's kind of a decision not to buy them. Really, it just takes all the decision making out of my hands. It's like I don't need to mull over what I'm doing, and I don't need to budget anything because I can just go right. That Optimus Prime $600. I'm not buying it.
That Optimus Prime is $600. That one is $100.
Yeah, it seems like more or less, instead of them mentioning a new toy now, they're sort of mentioning a new price tag. So you can see just how high they're climbing every time.
The prices for these new figures did come out, but I can't remember.
I think they're both over 200 US.
Maybe. Let me just see if I can find.
Because I mean, like I know it's not the same line, but what do you think about alternators? I mean, they would have been a much smaller parts count, wouldn't they? But you're still getting a serviceable lookalike G1 toy.
Alternators didn't really look like the G1 toys. They were definitely reimaginings based on sort of modern vehicles, real life vehicles, not cartoon. And they all sort of tended to sort of munge up whatever was going on around the chest. Binaltech and alternators were very much made in service of the alt mode. I can't find the pricing, but I believe someone said that RC's price, I think, was 2,200 yen. I'll see if I can Google it quickly.
$145 for RC.
That'll be US dollars.
Yeah.
Is that Masterpiece RC?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that announced the price. That's actually, I honestly don't think that's too bad. I mean, some of them have been a bit ridiculous, but RC, like, it could be better, but it's okay in my view.
Yeah. So you're right. So it's 16,000 yen, so 145 USD for RC. That will probably convert to. I kind of feel like it's going to end up about the same price as Hound, about 240. And I think Tigertron, someone said, must have been the 22,000 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's becoming. With the pricing, it's sort of becoming a more niche market now, isn't it?
A little bit. Look, it's worth pointing out, like, Tigertron is a large figure, even if he is even if he does look like an upscale. He's somewhere between Cheetor and Dinobot. Dinobot was the sticker shock king for a little while, I think, coming in at like $330 or $350. And yeah, so like I would not be too surprised to see Tigertron coming in at about that price or so.
And remember when Dinobot's price came out, we were like, yeah, that's a bit high, but future figures won't be. Future prices won't be so bad.
So we thought. And then Megatron came out. But yeah. Anyway, enough languishing on price. Let's move on to a couple of other news stories. This blurry photo is, I believe, a world first, taken by our group member Matt E. Sanders in Toy World in Doncaster, Victoria. They show.
Jason, you go on mute. Wait, so is Max. What?
Yeah, I'm still here. I've lost Jay. We've lost Jason.
Yeah.
Jason.
We can't hear you.
I don't know if he can hear us. Yeah.
No, he can. He can.
Okay. So you come here often?
Well, how about your good self?
Oh, how about those Cyberverse Deluxes, mate? That's.
Oh, you mean Grimlock and Rodimus?
There's a Grimlock. It's pretty exciting. There's an Autobot logo on a package. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Quite a few different accessories that they come with. It
says Transformers.
Yeah, it's got a bit of yellow, a bit of blue.
Yeah, it's a big box. A bit maybe inefficient, but it's a nice presentation.
Yeah, I don't know where the Jason's probably kicking himself right now, going, "These two tossers, the fuck are they talking about?"
This is the high tier commentary that you will come here for.
This is champagne commentary.
I mean, of course, from these photos here, we can clearly get a good sense of just how his figures work. I think Rodimus is looking about Masterpiece tier, Grimlock not quite as much, but you can clearly see the articulation, the transformation scheme there.
Yep.
It's all very. It's all looking. I don't know how much more I can get. I can't think of much else.
I saw
to say.
there was another.
It's a toy world. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So does that mean it's going to be an increased price hike?
Yep.
Yep. According to Jason, it is. There was another photo. I don't know if it's attached to this article, but it did show off Grimlock's alternate mode.
Oh, yeah,
And
there
he
are
just-
actually some good photos here, but I can't switch to them on the screen.
Yeah.
Because we're looking
neither
at
can I.
Jason's, but,
Oh wait,
is he going to give us better photos?
I think he is. Oh,
There
there's
we go.
Rodimus.
Jason, can you go to the next couple which have back of box? Because then we can actually
Oh, hot
not
rod.
have a sarcastic discussion.
There we
There we
go.
go.
The hot rod's become a pyromaniac. That's interesting.
And I guess it's kind of fitting. He's looking like a bit shell formery on the forearms. This is an actual discussion at this point,
Yeah.
in case you're
Yeah.
wondering. Yeah, it looks decently poseable too. I've been surprised to see how well these deluxes have been shaping up.
Yeah, he looks alright. I think this is the first time I've seen that car alt mode, and that's just screaming cars to me. I've never seen the movies, but it looks a lot like that main car.
I kind of like it. It looks like an 80s idea of a future car, which,
Yes.
if we're thinking hot rod, that's pretty fitting.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Feel
me?
the love
Can't do it.
tonight.
As you might have heard on a recent Doctor Who episode. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but I am back. Feel free to continue.
I think I was finished.
Finished? Oh, okay. Like,
Saying
I'm excited for these guys. Like, I like the first round of Cyberverse Deluxes, and I did mentally commit to finishing the Build-A-Figure. So the first wave was 4 figures. This wave is 2. So Rodimus and Grimlock, which are kind of the ones that I'm looking forward to, because I like Rodimus in the cartoon, and I'm looking forward to a cartoon accurate representation of him, and also like Cyberverse Grimlock is hilarious and cool and cute, but also so the last 4 figures have been split into 2 waves, and the last 2 will be available about mid-year.
Yeah, like I was saying before when you were gone, the car mode just screams the car from Cars.
It kind of does. It's probably intentional on the part of the animators as well.
Yeah.
Can we get back and talk about Grimlock?
Yeah, go on.
Because like I like I said, I enjoy Grimlock in the cartoon. This is a very, very, very cartoon accurate looking Grimlock. I reckon it's going to be great.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it.
I think they got a pic of the back of him, haven't they? Yeah.
His dinosaur mode's a bit weird, but sure.
He's got devil horns, but that looks cool. I mean, anything looks cool on Grimlock.
That's true. It also does come with one of the things that I really like about these Cyberverse figures is the effects pieces.
Yeah, and that's
They
sort of a
actually
new
look-
direction that we haven't really seen much before.
Yeah. They look pretty good.
The effects pieces are pretty good. Rodimus comes with 2 flames, and like they're siege compatible as well. And Grimlock comes with a giant fire breathing mouthpiece thing as well. So like you can use those pieces with siege. I'm not sure if you can use them with masterpieces, possibly not. But the fact that they're cross compatible and with siege is also really good. So yeah, look, I'm looking forward to getting these guys. I have a bit of a Cyberverse shelf that's started. I don't think it's going to go much beyond the deluxes, the Sharkies, and the Quintesson set that I've got. But it's not nothing as far as Hasbro is concerned.
The only thing I would take as a possible bad point for the boxes is they all look like they're the character Bumblebee. It says Bumblebee like right on top of the figure's name. So if you are a parent trying to go shopping for your child to buy one of these, and they say get me Grimlock, you say, well, I just saw Bumblebee, but there were different ones of him. I don't know.
I mean, this is also the perils of calling a movie Bumblebee and the toy line that ties into it as well. But the branding's interesting. We've talked about this a couple of times. It's said that Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures is the UK branding for Cyberverse, but I don't think that's true. Like, if you go to UK toy websites and look up Cyberverse figures, they've got the normal Cyberverse branding. So I don't think it's a UK branding. I don't know where it's come from.
Could it just be for the Build-A-Figure line?
No. So there are other figures that have Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures as well. And so season 3 of the cartoon is coming out, and it's possible that we'll see the season 3 of the cartoon is renamed. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. So when Brad was preparing the run sheet for us tonight, he put some in-hand photos of Earthrise Grapple in for us to look at. And I've chosen a different set of photos because mainly because I'm quite fond of the photos that Liam, who's Toy Box Soapbox, takes. And so he's gotten his hands on I say masterpiece. It's like a mini masterpiece. He's got his hands on Earthrise Grapple, and he's taken some fantastic looking photos. And like many other people, he's sort of comes to the conclusion that it is like a miniature masterpiece. It's a very well put together figure, and it's actually the first Grapple we've had in quite a while. We did get an Inferno in Power of the Primes, but there was no Grapple that went with him. So I think you have to go back to one of the Universe sublines. In order to find a Grapple.
And even though it was called Solar Storm,
none of them were particularly accurate.
Yeah, none of them looked so much like a G1 Grapple, and so we're kind of blessed in this case. So Liam's put together some fantastic photos, sort of showing Grapple in action. They're really well lit. They're really well composed, and yeah, he's got a lot of options. You can see in this photo here. You can see the claw attachment to the left arm, but you can also swap that out for a nozzle.
Yes, it is
Inferno
really
repaint?
a masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very much.
I mean,
and also
because that's an incredible figure. So if people can get a cheaper version of that, then don't see any reason why not.
It also looks like the arm attachments can go on either arm, because we can see the nozzle is on the right arm there as well. Unless the photo's been flipped, can't tell. But yeah, and my favorite shot here, he's got a collection of G1 Grapple, Universe Grapple, Masterpiece Grapple, and Siege Earthrise Grapple all together, and you can just sort of see the evolution of the character over the years, but you can also see where some of the Earthrise figures details just directly ape that Masterpiece figure. Look at that look at the right leg of the Earthrise figure, and then look at the Masterpiece behind them. It is just a miniature version of it.
Pretty much.
More power to them if I want to do that. Like if it works, and it certainly comes off as a lot closer to a G1 figure than the Universe version.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Universe was some of the earlier days of Universe. They were never really concerned with being that close to G1. They were very much reinventing those figures. So, Universe has its own charm.
Very much so. This little Grapple that we're looking at here, it looks amazing. Maybe we were talking before about the prices for Masterpiece going up. Maybe we can convince them to start buying these toys instead.
Maybe that's the point now. Yeah. So yeah, it's great. It's nice to see some of these in-hand photos, and you can see sort of he's got a functioning crane on the back of him as well.
Yeah, and he's going to grab Spike because he's had enough of his shit.
Yeah. No, I mean everyone has, right? Yeah. So let's move on. We've got some in-hand photos of Voyager, the Voyager Starscream from Earthrise as well. Who the person doing the comparison has very kindly placed him next to Universe Starscream, just so you can sort of see there's a lot of us sort of thinking that this is an oversized or an upscaled version of the old classics mold. Still don't know if they're right or not. I'm probably not going to be able to find out until I get this in my hands for myself. I don't know if I believe anyone, but it sure looks close, doesn't it?
I mean, there's a few differences in terms. Obviously, there's sculpting differences, and there's a few hinges that are present on, hinges and panels that are present on the new version that aren't on the deluxe one, and obviously the new one.
That's a luxury of more space to fill out the design as well.
In terms of the overall skeleton, like transformation wise, like I would not be surprised at all if you're right and that it is pretty much just the same thing again. Because I mean, for all the
interesting thing about that is that I thought it would be just a retool of the Siege Starscream without the Tetrajet backpack, but it looks like it's completely different. Yeah,
it's like Starscream released a year after a previous G1 style Starscream, and it looks like a completely new mold.
Yeah,
it's just
so I have seen the comparison this evening between the Earthrise Optimus Prime and Siege Optimus Prime, showing there's a lot of parts reuse, but while they make a similar figure, they're not exactly the same. Like I think some of the legs transform in the opposite direction on Earthrise or something like that, but there's still very obvious reuse of parts or similar parts, and so maybe there's some parts that are being reused from the Siege Starscream on this piece, which is why we're sort of thinking, hey, it's a repaint of it, but maybe it is a different mold to accommodate that. I just don't know.
Yeah,
we'll know in a few months.
The end reports for him.
Yeah.
Can I just get you to flick through? It's nothing particularly important, but just flick through to the photo of that head sculpt for a second.
Hang on. Where's my mouse? There it is. Yep.
God damn, that looks good. I just need to point out.
It does. It could certainly do with being less overexposed, but yes. But yeah, no,
it's got it's really sharply detailed. The whole thing is actually the lines seem really well picked out in a way that often the little greebles on Transformers figures get lost a bit, but everything seems really clear.
Let's be honest though, like this is one of the things that does differentiate Takara Tomy from third-party figures. The head sculpts are usually these days spot on.
Yeah, no argument there.
All right. I'll find the jet mode photos as well. Like he really does look like an upscaled Generations at this point. I wonder if the use of that as sort of a base for the new figure is a reaction to what some of the fans have been saying about how all the jet modes for Seekers recently have just had all the arms and legs just hanging off the bottom of them. This should make for a much cleaner figure. Although I noticed that we haven't got a picture of the underside of them. But yeah.
I mean, if it's following that original deluxe skeleton, it'll be pretty tidy. Because I know you own a lot of them, Jason.
Yeah,
it is a remarkably clean figure.
It is. That's right. All right, let's move on. We are going into news in brief, and that's probably about right for our runtime at the moment. 3.0, not 3A, whatever the difference is. 3.0 was showing off their deluxe Bumblebee Soundwave. There we go. So we're talking about the problem with naming things for a single character. The Bumblebee Soundwave is also showing off at Wonderfest, and holy shit, he looks great.
Yeah,
really good. God.
This is an instant pre-order because just like for all the 10 seconds he was in the movie, god damn, that looks good.
Max,
as not just the design, but as a figure.
Max, you know how you were talking about the price of figures being an instant deterrent to buying them?
Yeah, I know, but if I don't do that, it means I can do this, so it all works out.
Yeah, fair enough.
So in a way, I can
fantastic.
Thank Takara Tomy for 3.0 Soundwave.
Yeah, look, I've been saying for a while that I feel like there's a space for a line above Masterpiece, and like I kind of don't really need my Masterpiece figures to transform because they just sit on the shelf in robot mode. So like maybe it is a 3.0 style figure that I think comes in above the Masterpiece line, and maybe these need to start going on my shelves. I don't know. Also,
3.0 and Flame Toys certainly seem to be filling that void at the moment.
Yeah. So Flame
Transformers.
Toys less so because they're model kits, but these are more articulated statues, and like you can see the engineering inside them as well.
Flame Toys does also have that Kuro Karakuri line, but is the chemical attack design stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I don't see anything that really sort of stands up to this in terms of like just solid design and quality as well. And there's Ravage as well.
That first shot of Soundwave we saw, I was just like, is that Optimus Prime's head on top of him?
Hasn't that always been the problem with Soundwave though?
Yeah, good point.
It's why, like, on occasion, like in Marvel G1, they give him a mouth instead of a faceplate. I think there's a scene where he's talking to Optimus Prime and they give him a mouth to distinguish the two.
Well, and these days people are fond of having Prime remove the faceplate as well. So yeah. So 3-0. Soundwave does look fantastic. I believe he's due for a mid-year release, and he will cost a lot of dollary-doos.
But you are getting a very well detailed figure.
Very much.
And I appreciate that they've gone the whole mile with Ravage too, given how Ravage played a surprisingly significant role in the movie. So
surprisingly significant, you say?
Well, okay, maybe not significant, but like
surprising.
He was the only named Decepticon in the entire movie. So
yeah,
very true. Very true. All right, let's move on. Fans Toys, the company that likes to release figures out of order. Fans Toys had a little bit of fun at the expense of the coronavirus this week, releasing a photograph that you can see on screen with many of their characters with face masks on, and their forthcoming on again, off again, on again Soundwave figure. I believe he's Sonic Core or Sonic Wave. Just sort of teasing people, letting them know that he's still coming. And lo and behold, look at that on his right. There is a new Perceptor as well. That is, so Fans Toys Tesla has long stood as one of the only masterpiece renditions of Perceptor, but he's a little bit fragile and a little bit breakable. So it looks like Fans Toys want to make another run at him and release a new version. So we'll see how that pans out for them. That Soundwave figure is looking very much like a modern Takara Tomy cartoon accurate Soundwave. So holy shit, that looks great. But we'll see what Takara does in response, because I suspect they might well go back for another run at Soundwave soon as well.
Oh, it'd have to be on the cards, because that's the sort of thing where they can repaint it, they can pump out cassettes, and then it'll sell well.
Yeah, that's right. He's one of the most popular Transformers characters around the world. He's also one of the best known, because people are always like, "Oh, I had that one that turns into a cassette player." But also notable, I think, because he's one of the most well-known characters for Transformers in Japan, and Japan historically really likes Autobots.
Yeah, I was just you can start a pretty good argument with this picture as well as to which one's Rumble and which one's Frenzy.
It depends what color each of their face masks are.
Very good point.
There is a red and a blue face.
There is a red and a blue. Yeah. I think it's fair. I mean, like, Fans Toys are obviously fans of Transformers and Transformers fans. So, like, you can guess that. There goes Max. You can guess that. That was on purpose. So yeah, let's move on. I was very surprised last year. Takara Tomy showed a slew of MP10 repaints in Nike Atmos colors. I'll just bring Max back in. G'day, Max. Now I'm in the center because I'm not the most recent one to join the call. So Nike surprised us last year by Takara showed off a slew of MP10 repaints, and I thought they'd released them all, but apparently they only released the Mango Prime that I furiously hunted down, and I had assumed that they'd released all of the others, and I just was not looking for them. But no, apparently I was told by none other than Sixo himself on Twitter this week that Mango Prime was the only one that actually got released. So this is now the second the second Nike Convoy, I believe he's the duck camo color. So they've sort of tried to replicate the colors from the shoe you can see on the left on the Prime that you can see on the right. And they've done a pretty reasonable job of it, but I don't know what it is. This color design is just not as appealing as the mango color they did last year.
This color scheme actually looks like a painted prototype. It doesn't look like a finished product to me.
Well, you may be right. Apparently, the colors on this version are a little bit different than when it was shown off last year. So, but also people have also pointed out that the red really doesn't match the red on the sneaker on this. So yeah, maybe there's a few more adjustments to be made. But look, I gotta say, one, I think I own too many MP10s already. Like off the top of my head, I've got MP10, I've got the Year of the Horse one, I've got the EVA, I've got the 711, I've got the Ghostbusters, I've got the Golden Lagoon. I think there's a black one somewhere in there as well. I think I've got enough. Oh, and I've got the mango version as well. So I'm not really feeling the need to buy any more MP10s. Although I did say that before going out and buying the Ghostbusters one last year.
Well, it just it depends on how much of a shoe fan you are, I guess.
Oh, it's a shoe-in.
Oh. How did I not see that one?
I don't know. I haven't managed to get that one on screen in Q&A a few years ago, but yeah. Anyway, are you guys interested? Were you guys ever interested in the Atmos MP10s, and are you interested in this one?
No and no, but it does look nice.
Yeah, he's like a nice watermelon-colored Optimus Prime.
He kind of is a bit of a watermelon, isn't he? You're right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Not really that interested. And
that's just the truck, is it? Not a trailer?
Yeah, they're robot only, no trailers.
Cool.
Yeah. And the last story for tonight is new pins, because I like my pins.
You love your pins. Yeah.
Mainly why I put this in. I was very happy. One of the fellow group admins, Tyson Wade Richards, put a link into the admin chat this week going, hey, there's new pins. I'm like, click, add to cart, purchase, check out. And I'm like, and then I just went back into the chat. I was like, thanks. So the new pins are for an upcoming convention, C2E2, which is I believe it's a Chicago
Comic and Entertainment Expo, I think it is.
Hence C2E2. So we are looking at Hot Rod, and I got to be honest, like
Ironhide. No, that is Hot Rod.
I got to be honest, I'm not really that taken by the design of the Hot Rod thing, but it's a Transformers pin, so I've ordered it. And a new version of Soundwave. Han Solo has done this before. They've done a Soundwave before. It's up on the board behind me. This one is a little bit more detailed and has more of a sort of a metallic finish and more enamel paint within it. They also released Optimus Prime cufflinks, which, god damn, the cufflinks are really expensive, and also he looks kind of dead. Yeah. So jumped on and purchased those immediately. That is the end of the news. Does anyone else have any news we should talk about?
I think there were pictures of the Seacons, which I'm really looking forward to hopefully collecting.
You're right, actually. I did see Seacons photos listed somewhere in one of the... Excuse me, there's someone just going past my house with a very loud engine. There was a photograph of the Seacons somewhere. I'm just scrolling through trying to find it, because whoever went to the booth and just took photos, like TFW's just put everything in one gallery.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Let me put the news screen share back on. There we go. Seacons.
There we go. They look damn exciting.
A lot of people who've been getting them are very fond of them. Like they are super expensive for what they are, but they are also engineered slightly slightly beyond what we expected from them. So like they've got little extra pieces on them that move and stuff like that. So while they are based on the sort of Combiner Wars molds that we know /love/loathe, they are more detailed and have a whole bunch of new accessories and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I've actually got 2 of G1 Piranacon. One's actual G1, the other's that BBTS exclusive they did like a decade ago for like $50. And I really am looking forward to adding this to my collection. I just need to find it at a price.
Well, I think you're gonna have to just go out and start buying them because I think given that they're Takara Tomy Mall generation selects, I think you're going to find that they're just going to become quite rare after release.
Yeah, and they're not doing a box set, are they? But I think they're doing.
I don't think they will.
This one. Yeah. I gotta get my shoes on and get collecting.
You better.
Are these through eBay? So not eBay. EB Games Zing, like
They have been offered through EB Games, but they're off the website now, which means that they've run out of their pre-order stock. So you can't go into those stores and buy them now, I believe. But you can try your luck in store, but you can't order them online.
Oh well.
All right. Now I am going to kick news out of the live stream again and put us back there. So that is the end of the news. What have we got new acquisition-wise to talk about? Max, do you have anything new?
No, I have things on pre-order, but from what I've read earlier, apparently the coronavirus has stranded packages in China. So that's
so the coronavirus has had a couple of effects on things in China. One, yes, it's slower to get stuff shipped out of China, and just like to be perfectly blunt, you can't get a coronavirus from a package that has been shipped to you from China. But in order to attempt to sort of halt the spread of the virus, or at least slow it, China did officially extend the Chinese New Year holiday. So I believe it's been extended till next week. So people sort of ended up with an extra week off. It was a 2-week sort of festival celebration. I believe it got extended to 3, and given the spike in cases that's just been reported in the last couple of days, kind of expect it's going to. I don't know what's actually going to go on. Like they can't just hold people at home indefinitely. Like people do need to go to work, and packages need to ship out and stuff. So they're going to have to decide what happens with that. So that is the reason that some packages from China are being delayed at the moment. How about yourself, Bradley? Anything new?
I've gotten a few new bits and bobs here with me. Well, speaking about the Datsun toys before, I've got 2 of the 3 from Siege. I got Prowl and Blue Streak. Both very cool toys. I especially like Blue Streak for some reason.
Yeah, people are quite fond of Blue Streak.
But what happens is Snake.
Anyway, there's Prowl. He's Prowl. He's going to be a good replacement for the Henkei part formers that came out in Universe like a decade or so ago. I've got, I think it was Singe. I hope it was Singe. But now with Singe, I've got a full, complete, proper Spinister, because one of the Target Masters that came in the Decepticon Phantom Strike Squad was one of his as well. So now I've got them both, and it's nice to have a properly complete Spinister, and yeah, he looks pretty cool. I like it. Also for the little guys, we got. The camera can pick this guy up.
You got the tiniest of big bots.
Yeah, little Rung. I shared a picture of him in the group chat for the podcast, and I said he turns into a jet-powered pizza slicer.
Yes, that is.
It wasn't entirely inaccurate either.
No,
but he's got probably the most simple transformation of the simple transformation. You just peg his legs together, lift up the backpack, fold the arms so they sort of connect into the backpack, and there you go.
So what is it?
It's meant to be a blaster, but it's also it doesn't actually.
Bradley, no one knows.
Okay,
His function is ornamental.
fair enough. I just wanted him because I just read he's the one that creates matrices or something like that.
Maybe. No one
And-
wants no one wants to spoil the comics, Bradley.
Well, they should have read them already. And also, of course, the
You got
Quintesson.
yourself some Quintessons. Now I've not actually looked too closely at the base of the Quintesson. So can you actually move some of their tentacles around? Because I see you've got them sort of standing up.
Yeah, they've got so they've got this whole bunch here, which is all fixed. You can't move them. It's molded plastic. But he does have 4 posable.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. I didn't realize.
Yeah, and of course he's got the face changing gimmick,
Mm-hmm.
which
So
is a bit finicky.
I didn't actually realize that you could. So many things I didn't realize about these Quintessons. I didn't realize that you could change the faces that way. Does that make him a Mighty Mug?
Yes, 5 for the price of 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, so that's how Mighty Mugs change faces. You push them down, and the head slides around. So yeah, no, he's basically a Mighty Mug. That's great.
Yeah. I don't know if this is just mine or if it's just the price of the gimmick, but you sort of once you flick it through a few times, you kind of get to know where the actual trail ends. Because once you get to the end of a trail, you have to sort of let it sink back into the groove so it can spin around fully again.
Yeah.
And because I got that, I've also got this. I've got.
Yeah, you got an interesting Shockwave and Jazz with what I think amounts to Cyberverse's version of Headmasters.
It's Prowl actually.
Oh, that's
Jazz.
right, Prowl. Yeah.
Yeah,
can't tell.
it's Shockwave and Prowl with Quintesson control helmets on them.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna see if anyone wants these two because I don't. I just wanted the
Fair enough,
Quintesson, and I'm very happy to have him. He is very awesome. I was a bit concerned though because with the way it's presented in box, if you were a crafty bastard, you could just easily pop the Quintesson out and just walk out with a Quintesson in your pocket. But we do not condone that kind of stuff in the Australian Transformers collectors community.
Or any collectors community. I thought it was admirable to see a reduction in the use of plastic.
Yes, it is very, very good. It's funny because it does have instructions for Shockwave and for Prowl. And for the Quintesson Judge, it's pretty much just if you press the button, his head spins. But yeah, that is all of my newest acquisitions.
I thought it was interesting that the instructions don't actually mention the Quintesson control helmets at all.
No, they don't.
Like,
There's
nothing on the box even mentions them. It's just like, yep, no, here they are.
It's just saying he's a bad guy and he's a good guy, and they also have helmets.
Fiends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So my one acquisition I already talked about a little bit earlier, but wait, I need to put myself on screen.
That would be helpful.
There we go. Yeah, it would. There we have MP19 Plus Smokescreen. He is a lovely looking boy. The colors just are fantastic on him. Like it's such a good red. It's such a good blue, and the white is fantastic. The sort of the grey color on his thighs and on the weapons, fantastic. And of course, he does have, if I can get that right, maybe not. Yeah, he does have a new head sculpt.
There we go.
Yeah.
Is he smiling or shouting?
So there are 3 faceplates or two faceplates and one applied in the box, and the new thing, which is clearly worth the extra $100 on the thing here, is the guns. The shoulder cannons are a completely new mold, and they are attached via a hinge that you really can't see there in the back. Sorry about that. There we go. As I say every time I do this, I'm like a TV weather girl. But yeah, so there's a new hinge to place those cannons on the on his shoulders. They go on quite well, I find. Where am I going to put him there? I hope the camera focuses on him. There we go. I feel like the guns sit in place quite well. I'm very happy with him. I'm less happy about the price, but like he does look great. So
I am trying at the moment to get the Siege version of Smokescreen, and Masterpiece looks pretty good.
Yeah, actually, you know what? You just said that you've got the two of the three Datsun equivalents in Siege, but there's one more. There's Barricade as well.
Yeah. Very, very true. I'm not really after him. I've got the collector's Barricade.
Barricade is actually quite nice. I think the colors on him are really good. But the Siege Smokescreen is quite nice as well.
Yeah.
All right. That is about it. We're a little bit over time, so I think we should finish off. Anyone have anything to add before we close the show?
Nothing on my end.
Nothing on my end. Speak
now or forever hold your peace. Until next week. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you're watching along with the live record, thank you for checking us out. You'll find more about these stories with links in the show notes. If you'd like to catch up with us, you can find all of us in Transformers Collectors Club Australia on Facebook, the discussion group. You can catch the podcast on your podcatcher of choice. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers donating their time and money to make the club better for everyone. I don't often trip up in the middle of that. You can find more information, including affordable yearly membership options, to show your support at transformerscca.com. And you can find Bradley Groovy Guy on Twitch at GroovyGuy0069, or as he's fond of saying, just look for the big pair of legs with the Bradley between them.
Very nicely done.
Thank you. That is all from us. We'll be back with more Transformers news next week. And I will be here next week because I've been grounded. I can't go anywhere. So
you are grounded.
I am. I've been grounded. All right. Thank you very much. And thanks for listening. And that is it from us. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.